All right, y'all. We back. Like I said, I'll probably be back doing a live on the go once again, like I used to do. All right. It's not gonna be very long, y'all know that. But I just hadn't got a chance to sit down and talk about this fight a little bit more here. Hadn't got a chance to, I mean. Yeah, what's going on, Bruno? Oh yeah, definitely, man. And Marcus, what's going on? Yeah, man. So yeah, like I said, it's not gonna be a long one, so we can get started here in a minute. Got a few people in here. Um, had some good fights this past weekend. Like, I know overall people didn't like the whole card, but I thought the WMMA fights were good, and that's what I cared about. That's what I'm more so concerned about, right? I mean, I like a good fight anyway, regardless, but I thought we had some good fights overall. So the one fight though, the one fight we got to come back and talk about here. The one fight we got to really talk about in this stream here is the real main event. This was the real main event last Saturday that I think we were all looking forward to as the fans. Um, Taila Santos and Jojo Wood. I, I don't even think I uploaded my breakdown for it, but I just wanted to talk about some, other angles of the fight as far as what's going to happen. Because, Taila Santos wasn't really clear about what she wanted next. But I want to, just go back and discuss what it meant, what this fight meant for Taila and, this flyweight division. And, why you see she's part of this triple threat of mine, because she's got these tools, man. She's got these tools that could definitely dominate the other girls in the division, but maybe give Valentina Shevchenko a tough fight, a tougher fight than the rest, right? Let's see. So we'll get started here at the 3 minute mark. And what we're talking about. I have a question: is UFC looking into creating atomweight division? I don't think so. There's been talk about it, but it's very low key. Like, it's something we've been talking about since last year over here, but they haven't really been saying much. Mark said, "Do you remember the time De La Rosa was supposed to fight Santos?" Oh yeah, I remember that. Yes, sir. I remember that. Yes, sir. I remember that very well. And we know what happened. I mean, just so y'all know, Taylor's had over like 14 cancellations in the UFC. Marina Moreau, I think, was one included. Um, Montana was one. Who else canceled on Taila Santos? Then she had the visa issues before she could have the Roxanne fight. But Roxanne, I got to give her credit. I got to commend her because she came back for it. But yeah, the Montana fight, I remember that one. That would have been a. That would have been a. Oh man, we know what that would have been. Oh yes. Oh, let's see what we got here. Australia, what's going on? Fire out here somewhere. I smell the smoke. Fire engine going by. Ooh, we gotta be careful out here. Okay, so yeah, okay, y'all. So welcome back. We back in here with another stream. Like I said, not a very long one on the go. I want to just talk about, y'all see in the title, Taila Santos and Jojo Wood, Joanne Wood, and their fight. And why I thought it was the main event. This fight held more significance to me, and I think a title shot could come out of this fight more so than Misha Tate and Ketlin Vieira. Ketlin Vieira, you know, well, we already talked about her last night, but this fight meant a lot. You know, this fight. So we want to talk about that. And y'all see the side topic here because, somebody called me out again. Y'all know BJ from No Filter MMA. He called me out again. And he wants to say that Manon Fiorot is not as well-rounded as Casey O'Neill. So I just want to cover my points here once again, and let y'all know, look, Manon Fiorot is one of those fighters at the lower level that shows signs of being a complete fighter, in my opinion, okay? Manon Fiorot, look, again, don't knock the Casey O'Neill. I mean, like, she just defeated 3 people, right, in a row. She finished them all, right? So that stands for something, but come on now, like, Manon Fiorot, are we going to ignore her technique and her skills? And to say, like, she's just a striker is crazy, man. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to see these other elements of Manon Fiorot as she rises up and as she gets more of a test, Like, if a fighter doesn't give you those different looks, there's no need to find other tools to use. I mean, every fighter has a style, but they also have these other tools, and I think Manon Fiorot has those tools. She's shown a little bit of them in her early fights. That's why I said, look, I forgot to put a post up. Look, everybody act like I'm making stuff up about Manon. Well, I took the time to watch all of her MMA fights. I think everybody else should do the same too. All right. Everybody else should do the same. Like, don't ask me. If you don't believe me, take the time out to watch the fights and what I see in her. That's how you study a fighter. That's how you get behind the fighter. Like, if you like them or you hate them or you a fan of them, you're not a fan, like, take the time out to watch their fights and see what it is you like. Like, if you don't know them outside of the UFC, then you're not really taking the time to research them. You can't base it off of what you've seen in these recent performances. Like, Manon Fiorot has something. It's just like if you watch Valentina Shevchenko. If you've seen her in her early days and what she was able to do when she was LFA and before that, you would say, oh, this girl got something, right? So that's just my point. Like, you got to study, you got to study these fighters. But let me save that. Let's backtrack. Taila Santos, she got a dominant win over Joanne Calderwood. And what I saw from that fight was a fighter that, showed some hunger there, showed that she wants to move forward, which I'll talk about here in a minute as far as her call out. But what I've seen in her, Taila Santos, is what I've been telling y'all. Like, some people still question her speed. They question her ability, question her gas tank. I think her gas tank is not questionable. I mean, she wouldn't have got this far. She wouldn't have made it into the top 10 if she had issues with, cardio. Viviane Araújo, of course, she's there, but you see who she lost to, and you see where she could go, right? Viviane Araújo, there's a question mark over right now, right? That's why I don't put her in like a big threat, because that one major thing about her is holding her back is her cardio. Where, I think Taila Santos is a much better paced fighter. She knows her pacing, and that's one of your key ingredients to being a potential contender. Kaylin Skagen, she has good cardio, great cardio, good pacing, but she just didn't have the strength to deal with fighters like Andrade Shevchenko. So what I see in Taila Santos is she has a mixture of all of these things that she's going to need to, crash that gate and, maybe get a title shot soon. But this is what we need for, like, WMMA. If you want to say, okay, a real WMMA fight, you need somebody that wants to climb the top, and somebody like Joanne Wood that wants to fight. Which I'll talk on Jojo here in a minute. Like, I got to give her a lot of credit for taking this fight. Like, she could have did like the rest of them, right? And said, oh, can't take the fight, got to pull out for some odd reason, right? But she didn't do that. Hang on here, let me pull this thing up. Okay. Next week is Mallory Martin and Cheyenne Bays. Oh boy, we'll hold off on that for right now. Marcus said Taila Santos should be hungry with all of those fights being canceled on her. Yeah. I mean, I would be. I'd be pissed too. I think it's a mixture of both, like being held back against your will because of the politics, and then these type of cancellations like this. So it's a mixture of that and wanting to get to the top, and that being held back from me. So it's like, oh, you'll see it in her performances. And like I said, I've been low key watching her train behind the scenes, and she's definitely improved. Watched a lot of her fights. She's definitely one that has improved over the years. And I know you've seen a lot of her fights, Marcus. Taila Santos was a solid hitter, solid finisher, even before she got into the UFC, right? But when she got into the UFC, okay, she had a rough start against Mara Romero Barella, and I can erase that. I can erase that because everybody's had their moment where they might have just had some first fight jitters, or just like a mental block, a freeze up. Since then, Taylor's definitely erased that. I think she has. I think she's erased that Mara Romero Barella fight, because even in that fight, she was doing good things. It's just that she wasn't. She, like I said, she wasn't like Barella. Barella at least was at ease at some. Okay, she's not the best, right? But Barella still came with like a level of relaxation in there, a level of comfort. But Taila, man, I think Taylor's definitely, she's there. I think she's there. But with what she said when it came down to when DC asked her, did I want to hear her say the champion? Yeah, but I would have preferred, at that point, I would have preferred anybody ranked above her. Like, okay, she just beat Jojo, who's number 5, but it's Jojo Wood. Is she really like a gatekeeper? Is she really a solid gatekeeper to make us say a good finish over her is what's going to get us the performance out of Taila against Valentina Shevchenko? If she wanted to say, okay, well, I'm calling out the winner of Maya Chikagan, or I'm calling out Andrade, I'd have been fine with that. Even Lauren Murphy, right? If she would have called out any of them names, I'd have been fine with that. But I wanted to hear something about, eventually I want to be flyweight champion. She just said that she had somebody that she couldn't disclose to something they were just training to prepare for. I mean, that kind of sounds like Valentina, but with that type of call out, I don't think Dana White would do that, right? But when we study the actual division, it could be, because who else is going to get it, right? When you go down from 1 through 5 or 1 through 4, everybody's already been there. Andrade, Chikagan, Maya, Murphy. So none of them are going to get rematches. So Taila, hold on, let me turn this down. Taila could be getting it in the spring. I mean, she could be. Yeah, Marcus. I wouldn't mind too if she called out one of the gatekeepers. Straya said they're top. Okay, there's 4 top contenders in 125: Santos, Manon, Grasso, and Vivi. I think Andrea Lee and Maverick ain't on that level yet. Well, yeah, Andrea Lee, she kind of made it known that she wasn't. I mean, I think Andrea Lee's got a lot of good tools, and she can start beating a lot of the top 10 fighters. But, and again, I'm not taking away from Andrea Lee's performances, but you got to factor in what Calvillo and Antonina looked like before they fought her. You still got to factor in what they look like. So, well, she beat a number 5 opponent, so she's in there. So eventually she's going to have to be prepared for it. Andrea Lee, that's what you do. You fight up for a reason. So She better make sure she's on that level. But I don't know about Vivian Rujo. Something about her gas tank is gonna cost her those chances of getting there. I mean, if she couldn't destroy or dominate Caitlin Chikagan, that's gonna be a problem. Now we still got to see what she looks like against Alexa Grasso. Shoot, we got to see what Alexa Grasso looks like against her. So, yeah, that's what I think. But let me see. Yeah, Marcus. So I wouldn't mind seeing her take on one of the gatekeepers though. But compare this to the main event. I just thought it was a better performance. You got a fighter in Taila Santos who eventually wants to get that title. I think she put on a better performance compared to Ketlin Vieira. Ketlin, she was dealing with a fighter like Miesha Tate, who was in similar fashion to JoJo, that's there to be hit. And Ketlin's a big girl, but she wasn't sitting down on her punches. And that's what I'm saying. There's some fights they have to think about making a main event. Really, Taylor and JoJo, off of what I seen from that fight, it could have been the main event. It could have, because Taylor, Tate may have more of a fan base, right? But what did that fight really stand for? You got one fighter who's hasn't looked the best, been active but hasn't been the best in Ketlin Vieira. Then you have Miesha Tate, who just beat Amari Renault. And let's be honest, whoever was going to win the fight doesn't look like contender material for the champion, Amanda Nunes, right? But at least in this fight here, we can all back Taila Santos and say, okay, if she beats JoJo, she is that possible contender for Valentina Shevchenko, more so than Ketlin. And I just say it was like my main event because Santos approached it like she wanted to put on a showstopper, which she did. The minute she saw those openings in JoJo, she was capitalizing. She was putting the right hands on JoJo and just came forward with pressure. JoJo was doing nice with the leg kicks. She was putting the leg kicks on, staying active. But eventually, Taila Santos started working. She started jabbing her way in. As soon as that right hand started finding its home, she turned it up. She didn't do like Ketlin Vieira, go on the back foot and try to be apologetic with her style. She started to turn it up. There was a kill switch there, and that's my problem too. I think to be a main event, you gotta have a kill switch, right? You gotta have a kill switch. To be these main events, you have to have some type of kill switch. When you smell that blood, you got to go after it. And I don't think that Ketlin Vieira had that. Again, Ketlin Vieira looked like she was apologetic, man. She didn't want to hurt Miesha Tate. And the opportunity was there, I think, to stop her in the second or third round, because Ketlin was putting them right hands that was freezing Miesha Tate up. I was like, yo, go after this. But what would she do? Go right on the back foot, just step back, go on the back foot, go on the bike, let Miesha Tate come back, So I was like, what's going on here? I don't know, man. Though I really just like to see. I'll give Miesha Tate one more chance. I ain't gonna say I want to see her retire yet, though. That'd be, I ain't gonna say that, but we'll give her one more chance, since just to fight, just to see it. I know y'all are fans, but I think that Ketlin Vieira, if she wants to survive in this division, if she wants to make a big statement, she's gonna have to really put it together, man. You can't be holding back like that. What was the whole purpose of that? I mean, I thought the damage she was doing was like a work of art, and you got to, you have to just go ahead and whenever a person's like that damage, you got to just go ahead and put them out of their misery, right? Again, going back to Santos, what she did, dropped JoJo twice, and then submitted her. She closed it out. So yeah, Marcus said, I don't see UFC giving Taylor a title shot after beating JoJo due to JoJo not giving herself one. Right, right. Tate got a reality check. I'm not sure she'll understand that. I think something ain't right with Misha's mind right now. Yeah. Yeah, she did. Yeah, right, right. That's what I thought you were talking, Marcus. Yeah, she got it, but you know, she messed it up herself. Yeah, when she took the Jennifer Maya fight, you know, she didn't wait for Valentina to come back from injury. She went on and took the fight with Maya, and that cost her one. So yeah, but yeah, that's my thing with Taylor. I was impressed by her performance, and I think that's what you need to say. Eventually, I want to challenge the for Shevchenko, and I want to get to that route of a man, the Nunes. You know, put on some good uh, performances that are dominant, no holding back. Because lately, I'm glad we're getting a lot of WMMA main events, but some of them just haven't been living up to it, in my opinion. Like we've been getting some co-main events as well, but the last one was Jean Whaley and Rose. That was that's a good one, but I think for co-main events, instead of going to the bantamweight division, they got to really start going to the flyweights and the strawweights. You know, the featherweight division. You know, I don't really think those fights are really like solid co-main events or main events to bring in fans. I think it's all about the flyweights and strawweights right now. Those fights will bring in more because when you get knockouts like this, or not submissions like this, and just finishes in general, people are going to want that. But yeah, shout out to Taila Santos. I hope when she does some more interviews, the names come up that she want. I don't know, man. I don't know why a lot of these fighters don't want to call out names. I mean, if somebody's in the spot that you want, why not call that person out? Because that's their spot and you want it. So just say, hey, I want this person next. I think it makes it easier. I've said this time and time again. It makes it easier for the matchmakers. The matchmakers will say, well, Santos is going to be number 5. She called out Lauren Murphy. We'll give her Lauren Murphy. Or Jessica Andrade wants to fight. We'll give her Jessica Andrade. And just so y'all know, Jessica Andrade posted on her IG that she hasn't really made a home yet at 115. She said, who do y'all want to see me fight? I'll fight at 115, 125. It don't matter. So she's kind of in a position to fight wherever she wants, I guess. Or I guess where she thinks she can, but she's going to have to make a choice, right? Yeah, so Andrade, it's like it's up in the air for her. So I know if they gave her Taila Santos, she would probably take it. She would definitely take that fight, I think. But yeah, shout out to Taylor with JoJo though. Like I said, still a fan of Joanne Wood, but man, these fights, they're just gonna get tougher and tougher, and if you don't make those improvements, you're just gonna become food for these growing champions. I always been a fan of her. She's got the heart. She's a warrior. Got to give her credit because she did take this fight. She didn't back out. She came right back. Right after who was the last fight she fought? Lauren Murphy, right? She was willing to take this fight. And that's the thing I always liked about JoJo and respected. Like, we can talk about her fighting style, but she doesn't back out of fights. Heck, she even wanted to fight before the championship fight. I mean, that was a bad move, bad business move, right? But she was willing to do it. She said, hey, I still want to fight. Like, if Valentina's, out, I still want to take on another fight. And Jennifer Maya is not a pushover. This wasn't like a strawweight moving up to flyweight to give her a stay busy fight. She actually took on Jennifer Maya. So I give her a lot of respect, man. I do give her a lot of respect because she's been one to always come to perform. But there's only so much you can do with just showing heart and guts. Joanne's got to if she continues to fight, she's got to make improvements, man, because she really looked bad in there. Like, just when she was taking them right hands, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if she's been suffering some concussions or what, but like when she gets hit, like you can see it in her eyes. Like it's almost non-existent in her to move her head because that's something I don't know. Her team, they never really worked on. Whoever she's been with, her previous team, her previous partner that she was with, her boyfriend back then, it didn't seem like they made improvements on her head movement since she moved to Syndicate. Because we're working with her team now. None of them have really been like getting JoJo to become more of a good range fighter by sticking your range out, sticking that reach out and avoiding punches or just taking your head off the line. Like, you've never really seen her do that. And that's bad because, JoJo has a pretty decent hand speed and she throws nice combinations, but that's all well and good. But if you're not able to duck somebody else's combinations, then why, you still putting yourself at risk. Why get in there if you're not really going to make the right adjustments to get where you feel like you should be or where you could reach your potential? I don't know, man. Like the way I saw her face kind of look in this fight too. I think that kind of reminded me of the Jennifer Maia fight because I think the Jennifer Maia fight, like before that fight, she suffered a concussion or something like that. JoJo suffered a concussion and said something about her passing out after that fight. I got to go back and look at the interview and we'll talk about it. But I want to say that Joanne had passed out after that fight, or was it before because of the weight? No, it wasn't that. I got to go back and look at it, but something crazy because she took some big punches in that Jennifer Maia fight too. I think she came in with kind of like a knot on her head already, so JoJo's got to be careful. JoJo has to be careful. Like she takes too many punches. And if you're with that person, that's helping you train and that's your partner, I'd be like, yo, you take too many hits. You take too many hits, you're bleeding in the first round. Like, come on, like we got to make some improvements. Like, you don't want to be brain dead in another couple of years. Like, let's work on defense. I mean, everybody gets hit, but like, don't make it don't make it a don't make it a goal to take this many hits or something and try to prove you have a great chin. I mean, yeah, Daniel Edwards, thanks. Yeah, it was after the fight. Yeah, she passed out after the fight. Yeah, because I want to say, like, when she came into that Jennifer Maia fight, she had a knot on her head, or somebody told me she had like suffered a little concussion. So she was already damaged, and then she wanted to take a short notice fight. That wasn't smart. I know she said it was for money. She needed the money at the time because she couldn't wait for the championship fight, but that's not smart, man. Like, you put your brain at risk. Come on. You put your brain at risk, there's no other way to make money. Right, I just stopped. So let me look at these comments here real quick. Because I got one more topic before we roll out. So I got about another 20. Marcus said these fighters, instead of calling someone out, they would rather slide in the fighters' DMs talking about, who do you want to fight me? Right. Yeah. Nobody nobody care about that. They'd be like, oh, I called so-and-so out on. No, you call them out in public. Call them out, on this entertainment platform. Let me see. Gary Balder said Grasso versus Wood rebook next. No, it's Grasso versus Viviana Araujo's next. Gary. We got Grasso, Viviana Araujo's next. Pinecase said, I want to see Jessica fight Manon or Taylor. Yeah, I'm going to post that up. That's a fight I've been calling for. Manon versus Jessica I. Taylor will be too big of a jump because Taylor's probably going to be number 5 and Manon is number 14. No need to make her jump 9 spaces. So I'd rather see Jessica I, who's in the middle at number like 8 or 9. So Uh, yeah, Manon versus Jessica I, because their turnaround will probably be the same. Jessica I probably won't come back to 2022, and Manon is recovering, from what she was dealing with, and she'll probably be back in 2022 as well, because she had that little limp from the calf, and she was dealing with the 19. So Manon will probably be back around the same time. Significant Strike says somehow call-outs have been morphed into clout chasing. Yeah, yeah, it's crazy, man. They call-outs, even in boxing, like people call people out, and then they just duck. Okay, yeah, she said about one more year. Okay, yeah, well, she's in like the same boat as Roxy. Like, I don't know if it's the Roxy energy, but Roxy is about gone, and JoJo, I don't know if being in that camp has really done wonders for her, or if it just kind of put her in the same mindset to kind of fight the same, and she'll be around for one more year, then call it a day. So 2022 might very well be JoJo's last year, and I wouldn't be mad at that at that point. Gary said Wood should face Manon, and that fight is possible. I mean, Manon just signed her 4-fight contract, so we'll see. Yeah, so she passed out after that fight. That was crazy. Yeah, I knew it was something. Like, she didn't look right even before the fight. I was like, man. Yeah, he said JoJo's interesting case. If she would have been in a division that wasn't evolving rapidly, she might have gotten another 2 wins and got the title shot. Yeah, she needed to be. Yeah, JoJo Molly would be a fun fight. Yeah, she needed to be working on her takedown defense. For ground game wasn't like on point. Maybe American Top Team is where she needed to be, and she needed to be, working like on her takedown defense like Joanna. She just took a big turn from them other fighters like Rose and Carla and Joanna. I remember there was a potential talk back in like 2015 for JoJo and Joanna to fight. That was always the one fight I really wanted to see, when I thought JoJo was going to rise to that level. But then she lost to Marina Moreau, and from there just kind of took a different direction. Joanna started fighting the other girls like Carolina, Claudia. So JoJo just took a different path. I mean, that was always the one style matchup I wanted to see, though, man. Santos, Firo, Grasso, and Maverick make the old guard even older. Yeah. Gary says she passed out because of a low heart rate or something. Well, Daniel, 135 is dead because I think a lot of the girls had moved down to 125. Like Valentina said, there was a time Alexis Davis moved down, and there's a lot of girls that could be 135, but they say, no, I'm moving down to 135 because it feels better for them and not as heavy, and they can move around. Well, okay, so what do you think of the title shot at 115 since Dana's not in favor of Carla? I'm still in favor of Carla myself. I mean, any other fight should just be Carla or Marina Rodriguez at this point. That's about it. I would say either one of them. It's the same in the men's division. The higher you get, yeah, the smaller the pool of talent. Right. So yeah, that's my take on this fight, though. Like I said, it just seemed more like a main event to me because these girls seem fresher. Even, even like Joanne's going to bring a good fight. So Joanne's going to bring a good fight. Taylor is going to have that kill switch on. That's main event material. So I think they really need to start going for the flyweights to be main events or co-main events here, even on UFC fight nights. Marina Rodriguez and Michelle Waterson, they put on a good fight for main event. But the Tate Vieira fight just kind of lacked something, man. It was just like it was more like at the bottom of the main card or even a preliminary fight. I'm just being honest because Ketlen Varia didn't go after it. It was there. She didn't go after it. So to me, that's kind of like gonna set you back as far as bringing in fans. You know, they're not gonna be wanting to see a fighter that goes on the back foot after you finish like mauling a fighter's face out. You turn that person's face into hamburger, and then you just let it sit. Like you just let it sit and marinate instead of just firing it up and burning them. Cook them. You didn't do that. So I just think that wasn't a very good look there. People want to see a quick finish in the main event. Boom, boom. That's Taila Santos. So Taylor's going to reach that level soon, I think. Hopefully. Hopefully she getting the work in. But if she doesn't get Valentina next, make it Andrade, and we'll go from there. But let me go to this last topic here, man. I'm going to wrap this thing up here in a minute. Look, I got people calling me out. BJ over here calling me out. Let's talk Manon Fiorot. Look, like I said in this title, Manon Fiorot is a fighter that I think is close to being a complete fighter. I'm not saying she is complete now, but from what I've seen, from the bottom half, she's closer to a complete fighter. She's closer to complete, okay? Like, I'm not saying she's ready for the title shot right now. I'm not saying that she's going to get it, right? But, let's be real. Like, when you compare her to some of the other fighters around her, you see like a kill switch in her. You see that dominance factor in her. You see somebody that's committed to winning, right? You don't see somebody that just wants to come and fight. I don't understand. Like, all right, BJ over here called me out. He said, Casey O'Neill looks more well-rounded than Manon Fiorot. And I have to disagree with that because look, Casey is molding. Like Casey's got the right idea with certain things. Like, I like her. Look, I respect her heart. I love the heart, and I love the fact that she likes to fight. But I think that Casey O'Neill still has to get a grasp on even some of her groundwork. Like her groundwork, it needs to be polished up a bit because it's still some holes there. Still some holes there. And I think the fighters like Shannon Dobson, of course, they're not great ground fighters. You take her down, put her on her back, she's done. Roxanne's proved that years ago. Laura Procopio, she just kind of wore her down and mauled her and gassed her, which I respect that. She showed she has strength and good clinch control, right? Who was the last person she beat? Antonina Shevchenko. Again, I give her respect for that opponent, but Antonina, again, she's very timid. Like, what kind of approach is Casey going to have whenever the opponent has more of an IQ and is willing to bang, like really willing to bang and has that takedown defense? Again, Casey's got the right idea. She's moving in the right direction, but I also think that she knows and her team knows she has to work. So there's no need to lie about it. I mean, Manon Fiorot is closer to well-rounded. I mean, she's a little bit older. She's experienced more. I mean, she just got into the UFC a little bit older than Casey O'Neill. But age is not, age is really just a number when it comes down to that. I mean, like, prime year for like an MMA fighter is like 30, 31. You know what I mean? That's when you're kind of in a better mind state. Like, I think Manon Fiorot is more so settled into different things and willing to take on different tasks as far as improvement. She knows why she's fighting. Is fighting to win, not just fighting to fight. Definitely not saying Casey O'Neill's not fighting to win, because she is, but I think that she's been around longer, and when she was on the underground circuit, she was already making a lot of improvements. Like, if that was the case, then like you say if Liana Jojo came into the UFC, then you say, oh, she's well-rounded too. No, not necessarily. Like, she just got signed premature. Nadia Kassim, another one, like after 4 fights, she got signed, still premature. But Manon Fiorot had already been working, karate champion, working on a boxing, working on wrestling, doing other competitions. So she's already built the ground. You know, she's already built the foundation there. Like Liana Jojua, she didn't even go through like Invicta LFA. Like she went from some underground circuits, and then she was signed, boom, after 4 fights to the UFC. So that's all I'm saying. Like Casey O'Neill, she was in the UAE with she was in UAE with Manon Firo at the time. You know, Manon Firo won the championship there. You know, Manon Firo won the championship there. So I thought eventually they might fight, but you know, Casey O'Neill got signed, then Manon Firo got signed. So they both were in the same organization, but you could already see right there who was a more developed fighter. Manon Firo was. You know, she was the champion there. Like these regional championships, they stand for something. You know, these championships stand for something. I mean, that's telling you that you're the best of that organization. You know what I mean? You're the best of the best in that organization. And sometimes it's better to stick around there and you know get a belt because that'll teach you that'll teach you about accomplishing that on that level, and then you can kind of move on from there and say, okay, I've been here and done that before. So when I rise to this level and go for this belt, I already know how to take the right approach. Like I know what I need. I know what I need to work on, and I know what I'm capable of. Because like Casey O'Neill reached a certain level on UAE, but never won the belt. So when she comes here, there's still something she's kind of lacking versus Manon Firo, right? Manon Firo, excuse me, Casey O'Neill, again going back to her team. I think they also think she needs to take time to work on some things as well. Why do you think they didn't take the Macy Barber fight right away, right? You know, they didn't feel they didn't take Macy Barber because, you know, her team felt like, you know, that wasn't a good move yet. We're gonna work and then come back next year because they needed that time, right? So somebody like Manon, I think Manon Firo, you know, injury aside from the calf and everything, I think that she would have been ready to jump on a Macy Barber fight because she has those skill sets. There's no need to say, okay, we need to make some slight improvements now. If anything, it'll just be like recovery time for Manon. You know, Manon has the striking, Manon has the clinch game, and I think she does have the strength and the wrestling on this level to give even a Macy Barber another L. You know, so it's nothing bad. I'm just saying one is more advanced than the other. One has showed me more than the other. Casey O'Neill, I think, you know, still needs to work on her striking. Um, her ground and pound needs to be more vicious. You know, it needs to be worked on too as well. I know it was effective in the one fight with with Shannon Dobson, but the higher you get, fighters like Andrea Lee, they're not going to be just succumbing to that type of ground game, right? So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's it's uh it's still a process for her. Like, can she be in the top 10? Yes, she could definitely get into that top 10. She could definitely get in that top 10 with the right opponents. You know, she jumps in there, she'll definitely make it to the top 10, I think, sometime in 2022. But this fight against Roxanne is gonna really it's really gonna answer those questions. Like, what does she look like? What is she gonna look like against Roxy? If she looks like a world beater against Roxy, then I'll say okay, she's getting there. But if she kind of skates by and you know Roxy wins a round or wins a close controversial round or two, you know we'll have to say there's still some work that needs to be done, right? So that's just me. Let me check these comments. Hold on. Let's see. Okay. MJ said, who do you got? GDR versus Catlin. Oh, I got GDR. Marcus said, with UFC making another tough for 125, lets you know that UFC is about done with the women's featherweight division, right? Yeah, you know they missed that opportunity, so they trying to jump on to the you know the gold division, which is 125. You know, Valentina needs a new contender, so yeah, they're ready to do something now. Rabbits a flyweight tough Santos versus Shevchenko. Yeah. MJ said, I think Taylor's not confident. Maybe she thinks she can't beat Valentina. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to say she's not confident. I mean, it's going to take maybe another fight or two to get there. I don't know though, man. You know, a lot of these fighters just won't take the call out. They just won't take that time to say, look, I want the belt. I've always heard people say I want to win, I want to be champion. But when it comes to this division, it's like everybody is very careful in how they speak, you know? Yeah, I don't think it's not confident. It's maybe not just she's just not ready for that next fight. Like some of these fighters are looking too it's like these fighters are looking too good for their own good, right? Because when they go in there and blast these opponents out, they know that everybody's going to say you need to fight Valentina next. They're like, oh, it's Valentina next. So they need to start maybe dumbing down their performances because the better they look, you know, the more and more the champion's going to be like, oh, there's my next opponent. Nabaz said Casey's not well rounded at all. Her aggression, cardio, and confidence is everything that carries her. Yeah, I said that in a previous video. Nabaz, I was listening. I agree. Is it that carries her through these fights in terms of technique? She's the least skilled out of the whole top 15, in my opinion. Dang, even less skilled than Macy Barber, you think? Yeah. Okay. He said, or maybe no, because Macy Barber is there. Okay. Yeah, we on the same page then, because you said that too. Okay. Daniel Everett said, I wish I was a featherweight female. 2 years of work at the gym, and I might have a job at the UFC. Right. And then you could get a big title shot in a matter of three fights, and you got a couple paydays. Oh yeah. The UFC signs a lot of girls because of looks and IG modeling. You know, like some girls get pushed faster than others. You know what I mean? Like girls get pushed faster than others because of looks. Like again, like Liana Jojo, good young talent. But jumping from the organization she was after 4 fights, that was a big jump. Like she didn't need to be in the UFC quite yet. Why do you think she's cut now, right? So yeah, that's how they do sometimes. They still see women as that eye candy and they need to sign some for that type of stock, but it's not going to pay off in the long run. Significant Strike said, I believe Val would be better tested against Santos than Manon. I think Val will be better tested against Santos than Manon due to style matchup. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible. I think that if Santos brings like a level of the Nunes style, with the power and the strength in the ground, the strength on the ground, uh, leg kicks, that similar type of range and pacing, I could see that. I could see that from where she stands right now. I mean, Manon's still number 14, so we'll see, where she as of right now. That's why I'm saying as of right now, Santos definitely because she's ahead of Manon, but I still think Manon could catch up. Like Manon will catch up. Manon is 9 spaces down right now, right? So with her being this far down, she can improve or she could regress. So along the way, she might pick up some things and look better than Taila Santos. But I know what you mean. As of right now, she does look like a bigger, a more of a threat now because of where she stands. In the style she brings, yeah, it could bring back some flashbacks of Nunes if she comes with that right approach. Robert Henry, yeah, head movement, man. Marcus Bell, if O'Neal fights Manon, I can see Casey turning into a panic wrestler. I see, I see good body shots. I just see body shots. And I just see a lot of body shots in that fight. A lot of body shots, man. Ulysses, what's going on? He said, I say now, sign now. Santos will be the toughest fight for Valentina. Yeah, because right now, and this ain't saying like a great deal, but right now, who holds that? What is her name? What is her name? Jennifer Maia. Yeah. right now, Jennifer Maia holds the record. What holds that record? Just being the toughest because she went the distance and she won one round. So she holds that as being the toughest title defense to date. But that can be easy to break. I mean, if Taila Santos, comes with the right tools, right? Significant Strike said, did Santos reveal her secret call out yet? Not that I know of. Not that I know of. Marcus said, I might not have power, but I can challenge you in a point battle. You know it, man. You know she can. I mean, that's what makes it bad, man. She makes these girls look bad, boy, whenever she put them hands on you, right? You can't argue that, man. Like, she might not have the power, but if you lose to Caitlyn, that says a lot about you and what you can't figure out. You know what I mean? Like, it makes a big statement about these fighters with no cardio and what they can't do. Oh man. Daniel Edwards said Manon cleaner on the feet than Santos. Santos grappling and strength is on another level. Yeah. Robert here. I don't know, man. I'm still in the minority there, man. Like, I don't mind like Caitlyn being around because she is like Caitlyn Chikagan gives girls a test, man. Like, Caitlyn Chikagan is still testing these girls. You know what I mean? Like, Caitlyn Caitlyn Chikagan is still that test for these girls. Like, if you can't beat her, that says a lot about you. You know what I mean? Like, that says a lot about your cardio, and that says a lot about your ability to cut off the octagon and your takedown skills. So I like Caitlyn. I like Caitlyn Chikagan still being around because it's just weird. Like, she brings this weird style that these girls can't seem to handle, man. Like, of course, Valentina handles them all, but Andrade handled that. But it's like nobody else can handle it. Like, there was a time when Caitlyn was looking like a promising fighter to me. You know what I mean? Like, Caitlyn looked like a promising fighter like 2 or 3 years ago. But then, she came across Jessica I, then the champion, and y'all know how that went. Daniel Edwards said, would Santos beat Chikagan? See, that's a good question. Like, would she? Like, there's still no guarantee there. Like, I would favor Santos in that fight, but how do we know? Like, could she deal with the footwork? Could she deal with the combinations? Because Caitlyn Chikagan is not going to stand there and bang. Her work rate is crazy. Like, if you don't know how to take her to the ground or go to her body, or use timing and time good shotgun jabs and knock her back, hit her in the chest, hit her in the body, then she will get into a rhythm and beat you. So Daniel Edwards, like, as much as I'm riding for Taylor, she's part of my triple threat. That's yet to be seen. I'm just being real. Like, I'm not giving anybody false hope. Caitlyn Chikagan has a good chance of beating Santos. Okay. And Santos can beat her. It's a 50-50 fight. Like, until Santos, calls her out, gets in there, and we see how dominant she is, then we'll say, okay, Santos is next level. Like, we still don't know if Santos is next level. Like, being a threat to the division is one thing, but actually being that danger, that true danger, like Andrade was or Shevchenko is, that's it. You know what I mean? Those are the ones that are factual about where they stand. But like, Santos is still somebody with that potential to dominate these other girls. But that's a fight that needs to be seen, man. Like, Santos has the tools to do it, but Chikagan has the tools to beat her also, right? Santos can still do it. Like, Chikagan can still do it. Don't be surprised. Because Chikagan does have an IQ, She doesn't have the IQ of Shevchenko, of course, but she does have an IQ. She is number 2 for a reason, you know. Dave Weber said UFC would book Chikagan Santos in a small cage to give Taylor the advantage. That's a good point. I've seen that done in boxing before. Pressure fighters get the smaller rings, Daniel Weber said she thinks he could hold her down. I don't know, man. You know, I'm gonna go in with I'm gonna go in with the open mind on that fight. I'm gonna go in with the open mind on that fight because I know that Chikagan is capable of winning that fight. She out here outworking. She beat Jennifer Maya. She beat Lauren Murphy. In my opinion, she did beat Jessica I. You know, she's got a win over JoJo. Uh, she could have beat Jessica Andrade if she got into a rhythm from a distance. She beat Viviana Arujo. You know, so the girl's got skills. The girl has skills, man. The girl's definitely got some skills. All right, Australia, out. Significant Strike said, who do you think would be the current would be the current flyweight champion if Val wasn't born? That belt would be jumping around. I think Andrade would have it. Well, I think Caitlin Chikagan would get it first because she was in the division first. If Caitlin got it, then Jessica Andrade would get it. And I would say Lauren Murphy or Jennifer Maya, they would get it. Like, it would be between those four fighters. And then eventually when Taylor gets there, Manon, you'll see them getting it. Now, who would hold it the longest? I think that I actually think Lauren, I think Maya might hold it the longest, like maybe for 2 or 3 title defenses. Yeah, but if Val was never around, it would be between those four fighters to me. Oh yeah, that's a good point, Nabash. Joanna maybe, yeah. Joanna would probably go for that 2 division world champion. So Joanna could definitely get it. I mean, yeah, Joanna could definitely get that belt. Yeah. Oh yeah. Daniel Edwards, yeah, that's where she started. Yeah, she was a bantamweight. You know, Chikagan was a bantamweight. So she's tricky, man. Like, you know, Maya and Chikagan too is a 50-50 fight because Chikagan already beat Maya. So, you know. But yeah, y'all, I'm about to get up out of here. I was on here a little bit longer. Um, that was all I wanted to talk about, though. You know, Taila Santos and JoJo. Shout out to both of them. But yeah, Manon, like I said, she is closer to a complete fighter than Casey O'Neill. You know, let's let's hope BJ heard all of this though, because BJ out here talking about. He said that Casey O'Neill is closer to a well-rounded fighter than Manon. I'm talking about she a brawler, and her ground game is better. I mean, she shows her ground game more, but I think Manon is stronger on the ground. Manon is closer to a complete fighter. Look, I want that smoke. I want that. So BJ, you know, we gonna have to get on it for real though, because you know you talking. You got to bring your facts with me though. You got to bring them facts with me when I come at it, man. For real. Um, this is just an appetizer. MJ said, "What happened to the ranking spot from Taila Santos?" Oh man, I don't know. I got to look at it. I got to check it out though. I check it out though. But yeah. Okay, Robin here. Yeah, replay time. Yeah, this is an appetizer because that's coming, man. I'm gonna get him on, and we gonna have to talk about this because look, I'm gonna break it down for you. I'm gonna break it down. All right, y'all. Let me get up out of here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Always good points y'all bring up. I'll catch y'all on Wednesday for sure. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.